What would you do if your boss told you that you had to change your hairstyle in order to work with clients? Well, I'll tell you what today's guest did. She decided to launch her own business. It's our startup story today on Expert Connections. Our expert today wears two hats on the show, sharing both her startup story and then her expertise. Welcome to Expert Connections. I'm Julie Holton Smith. Our startup connections expert today is Melissa Terry, owner and founder of Lotus Beauty Lounge. Melissa, welcome to the show.
Hello, Julie. Thanks for having me on Expert Connections today. I'm very excited to share my journey with you guys.
I am excited to share your journey because one of the things that really stands out to me is that when you first started down this path of entrepreneurship, you didn't know you were on the path to entrepreneurship. So let's start there. Tell us, what is your startup story?
Just growing up as a child, I always had dolls and I loved to do their hair and I loved to put clothes on them and make them look beautiful. And I would just show them to my family members, to get praise from them. So I always knew that I did want to be in the beauty industry. But as I became a teenager, I really started loving fashion. And by the time I finished high school, I ended up going to the Fashion Institute of Technology for pre-college in New York. And I loved what I was doing and I loved the school there. But living in Manhattan and the New York experience was a lot for the teenage version of me.
It
So
wasn't like Sex in the City. It wasn't just.
no, maybe if I would have watched Sex in the City, I probably would have been like hip to what was going on. But I think it's just coming from Michigan and being in a town where you can kind of get where you want to go in 20 minutes, from left to right, north, south. Just living in New York, it's a very big and beautiful city. And there's many different experiences to be had with the different people there. So I decided, to finish pre-college and then come back to Michigan. And while I was back home, I was like, I really need to probably think of a plan B if I'm not going back to New York. So I decided to enroll in trade school and I started the cosmetology program. And I love doing hair. I love making people feel good. That moment when they get out of the chair and they're smiling and you just kind of see a weight lifted off of them and them leaving with confidence just gave me so much passion for what I was doing. Um, During my cosmetology training, I did have an experience of my own where I was transitioning from having to natural hair, which I was wearing my hair more curly. I was putting less heat on it. I just really wanted my hair to be like the healthiest version of myself. And learning how to do that, I had to learn about myself also. Um, because when you grow up with textured hair, you are really taught a certain way how to tame it from the world's perspective, how the
Mhm.
world kind of wants you to look. So I was like, I'm giving myself a fresh start. I'm cutting all the damaged parts of my hair off, and I'm just gonna wear an afro, and this is me. And I love this for me. But one day when I went to school, I was told, hey, you have clients waiting. We want you to take them, but we can't let you take your clients until you straighten your hair. And I was like, oh, my hair is natural right now. That's exactly the opposite of what I want to do to it. So I had to make a decision. Was I going to take my clients, get my hours, and finish the program? Or, just wear my afro and walk out. So I did end up taking
Wow.
my
So
clients that day.
I mean, talk about a huge moment in your life
Yeah.
to, really you're at this crossroads you didn't even know you were going to be coming to.
Yeah.
Topic for us to have as well, a conversation on the Think Tank of Three podcast, my other show,
Mhm.
because I mean, what a moment to choose between being true to yourself and
Yeah.
being true to the
Yeah.
aesthetic, the vibe, whatever it was that
Mhm.
this business was going for. So,
Yeah.
I mean, what were your thoughts in that moment? That couldn't have been really,
Um,
was it an
it
easy decision?
definitely I was definitely taken back by the approach. but I had to give myself hindsight. And I know that no matter what my hair looks like, I'm always going to be who I am and do what I love. So, like I said, I did decide to take my clients that day. Going forward, I did transfer my hours to Paul Mitchell School, and I loved it there because I could be true to myself, wear my hair how I wanted. And the only thing that mattered was the skill and talent I had for what I was doing. So I'm literally so honored to be able to graduate from a Paul Mitchell school and have that experience where what you do is the most important thing, not how you look or how, a company or brand wants you to look. Um, and there's different ways to be professional and to be yourself. So
Absolutely. It's,
yeah,
it's not lost on me. You mentioned earlier confidence that you love when you are, early in those early days, the feeling that you would get when you saw your clients, turn around, see themselves in the mirror with the confidence and the relief and all of those positive qualities that
yeah,
you were instilling in them through your work,
yeah,
that now you had to turn around and say, okay, how am I going to give this to myself through my work and honor who I am and be genuine? I think a lot of people watching, especially those who might be working a 9 to 5, but maybe it's not the right place for them. Or, so maybe they're considering, is this something I want to take and do and make a change and take that leap into entrepreneurship? And for you, that meant continuing your schooling elsewhere
yeah.
before becoming an entrepreneur. So, what was it that then, as you finished up school with Paul Mitchell, what was that turning point for you? What led you to say, I want to become a business owner?
So after finishing school, I gained a lot of clientele there, and I found myself traveling a lot for wedding clients. And after traveling so much, I'm like, I kind of have a full book. I think that I'm ready to have my own location. So now all of my clients can come to me. So, upon looking for what I thought would be just a small location just for myself, a little suite, something humble, I ended up having the opportunity to get a location at the Meridian Mall, and there opened the door to entrepreneurship. And I definitely didn't envision um, when signing the papers what I would end up with, but what I've been able to create, the jobs I've been able to give people in my community, and being able to do what I love and make people feel wonderful has been like so rewarding. And I never would have known in New York that whatever experience that I may have been having would have be taking me here today.
What a story. And I love that. Similarly, when I first launched, I did not know I was going to become an entrepreneur. It was not a lifelong dream. Some entrepreneurs just it's in their blood. They know it's what they want. Others like you and I end up there and then are really grateful for that part of the journey. So what was it when you had that opportunity? Location opens up, Meridian Mall. What was it that inspired you to take the leap to say, I'm not just going to open a place for myself. I'm going to build something with scalable growth opportunities.
I knew that I wanted to have an all-inclusive environment for all ages and people with all hair textures. And I knew that I wanted to do more than hair because I also love aesthetics and skin and nails. So I created a service list. And I was like, you know what? Of course, yeah, I can do all of these things, but through my journey of cosmetology school, I've met so many amazing people that are great at what they're doing. I would love to bring some of them on and see if they want to be a part of my team. So, upon reaching out to different people, I was able to gather what had been my first group of employees at Lotus Beauty Lounge and establishing my business in 2018. And just finding ways to separate my business from other salon and spas, from, our representation of when you walk into the salon, 100% it's something that you haven't ever seen before. It's very unique within itself. And then also the services that we offer, you can literally come to the Lotus Beauty Lounge and get, permanent makeup. You can get manicure, pedicure, you can get a keratin treatment, balayage, and a full body wax. Like it's your world. You can definitely step in one person and come out a whole nother person. So that's kind of how I kind of leaned into it all.
Okay, so what I hear you describing is something that business owners across all industries face, which is how do we separate ourselves from the competition? And how do we create an environment where our team really wants to come and work for us because we are different? Can you
Mhm.
talk about that a little bit? I know right now you are hiring, you are scaling, you are growing, and you are working to keep up with the hiring. So what is
Yeah.
it? Give us your 30-second elevator pitch. What is it that really makes you different for your team?
Well, I'm really big on sharing a space and having good vibes with one another. When you're in a workplace, that is your second home. It's definitely a place where you should feel safe, comfortable, and be able to do what you love while creating income for yourself and your family. So, that's very important. That's the headliner right there. I always try to give incentives to my employees. Being in the hair industry, a lot of people don't have 401ks or insurance to cover them while they're working as barbers or stylists. So I always try to make sure that I offer like Aflac emergency insurance to my employees. And I also try to make sure that we always have like time for group meetings and even one-on-ones and just having transparent conversations, regardless of if I am the employer and you are the employee. I'm still a growing and learning person also. So I like there to be, a safe place where we can communicate on what everyone can do better. I also, make sure that there's room for growth. So if people want training while they're here, any services that we offer, I offer my employees free training because I want them to be able to take every client that walks through the door.
I love this. So, as I'm taking my own notes here on your startup story, if I were to sum it up in three headlines, it would be you launched because you needed to stay true to yourself. And I think when a business is founded in that authenticity to what the business owner needs and wants to create, that is key. The second headline here would be the focus on your team, the growth opportunities, the training. And then third, of course, the attention to your clients. So let's turn now to your clients because our audience, I am sure, is listening to this, resonating with your startup story, and also we could use a few beauty tips of our own. Let's dig into that expertise from you because we talk a lot on this show about, for instance, preparing for pitch presentations, about presenting ourselves for the media, and presenting ourselves, putting our best foot forward with our clients, with investors. So let's talk about, from your perspective, your expertise, putting on that hat now. Let's
Mhm.
talk about the importance of self-care and our presentation style when it comes to those things. So, how do some of these current trends that you're seeing really help business professionals to make a strong impression?
What comes to mind when I think about first impressions is confidence. And when I think about the things that give me confidence are, when I decide, what am I wearing today? How does this make me feel when I put this on? When I'm doing my hair, sometimes we have good hair days, sometimes we have bad hair days. But I think finding a hairstyle that you feel is always, a good representation of you and something that you can do in a timely fashion that still looks great gives you confidence. Having like a makeup routine that is like minimal for women or whoever wants to wear makeup, that you can do really fast. Nobody
And
wants to
frankly, everyone on Zoom, men,
everyone wants to
everyone, whether you
spend.
wear makeup in your everyday or not, if you're on a Zoom interview and it's an important or presentation,
Yeah.
borrow some of your wife's concealer if you've got a big zit, which often happens when we're stressed, right? So
Yes. So
absolutely.
just having like really quick go-tos that, enhances your beauty without overdoing it. So that's not overbearing. You still look like yourself, the more beautiful version of yourself. And I like to call myself a beauty enhancement specialist sometimes because like that's just my niche. I love making people feel great and helping them find ways where they can incorporate beauty in their everyday routine.
And I love how you started that again with that keyword of confidence, really bringing out that inner confidence in
Yeah.
our external look. So, okay, let's talk about skincare,
Mhm.
healthy, natural skincare, men and women. No matter what gender you identify as,
Yeah.
skincare is very important. What are some of the latest skincare treatments that maybe some of us who aren't paying attention should know about?
I can really only speak from personal experience because I feel like skincare, it's not a one for all thing. Everyone's skin is different. You have to figure out what your target areas are, what type of skin combinations you may have. And then once you figure out what your issue is, then you can start finding products that work good for you. For me, I love to find like vegan based products. I like to find products that are not acne prone. Right now, I feel with like trendy skincare is like the tonics and serums, like Ordinary, just getting your straight up vitamin C and just lathering it on without having like three products that are vitamin C based. You just have your serum and you apply it. Another thing that's important is obviously like moisturizing. Even if you do have oily skin, having a moisturizer that's not like oil based, so you can still have a protection and barrier from like outside pollutants and things like that. One thing that I also like to do is use eye gel masks because I can just throw them on for 15 minutes if I'm in the car or if I'm cleaning at home or wherever I'm at. I can always do that for like a pick me up. And it just makes me feel great afterwards. And I think that it works. So that's kind of all that matters.
All right, audience, we are getting into the weeds here because I know that that on a regular basis, audience, you are not getting into the weeds on this because busy entrepreneurs, business leaders, we're all busy. Unless
Yeah.
you're in the industry, like our expert Melissa, you are not paying attention to this. I want to talk too about stress relief and confidence boosting. You keep mentioning confidence. So, as part of our self care routine, how can some of these wellness treatments benefit us?
I think it's part of work-life balance.
Is
Just
that
like,
a thing? Does that exist?
you have that's the key. You have to make it exist. And I'm a mother of five. So there may be moments where I might be feeling like a little selfish because mommy's taking 10 minutes to herself. But those moments are, important for us because we can only give as much as we have. And if we're not giving anything to ourselves and taking that time for ourselves to just have relaxation, to have solitude, to have a moment of just self care, whether you're just like getting a pedicure or even something I like to do is just literally just sit in the sun. Like just go on
Mm.
the back deck and just lay out in the sun and just be at peace. There are so many different ways to practice self-care and relaxation. You just have to find which one you can incorporate realistically into your life.
Well, I think the only reason why I get my hair done regularly is for the scalp massage. There is nothing
It's
like a good
therapeutic.
tension release in your
Yeah,
scalp. If you have never had a scalp massage, even, go check
it
out
feels
Melissa
good.
because it really does. There's something or aromatherapy to,
Mhm.
to calm your nerves through your
Yeah.
senses.
And a really good one, just for a mood booster, one that I like to use is just mandarin essential oil.
Mm.
It just smells so good. And it really just makes you feel better. For me, it makes me feel better. So if you
Yes.
haven't tried mandarin essential oils, if you put a little on yourself or if you have something you can put inside of at home, it is a really great mood booster. I love it. But those are little things that you can do that can just give your whole day just like a better perspective, a more feel good type of vibe.
All right, Melissa, last question that I have for you is about haircuts and styling for trends.
Mhm.
So, especially for the busy entrepreneur, the busy business leader, what are some tips for a polished look that is maybe low maintenance, but really going to maybe help boost your confidence when you're in the boardroom giving that presentation?
First thing first, having healthy hair, making sure that you're getting like your trims regularly. uh, I feel like when people get their hair cut, even if it's like an inch, they're like, oh my gosh, I feel so much better. So, getting that dead hair off really just can make you feel really good about yourself. So just giving yourself a small touch up like that. And if we're talking about, like trends, like, unfortunately, summer's almost over, but lovely fall is around the corner. So just going back to your browns, your burgundies, your reds, your caramel colors, and like I lightened my hair this summer, but my hair is like, girl, deposit some color on me right now. Like, so just doing things like that to kind of make your hair just feel and look a little bit healthier. Those are great options.
Melissa Terry, owner and founder of Lotus Beauty Lounge, thank you so much for sharing your expertise today, as well as your startup story. If you tuned in at the end of this interview, make sure and jump back to the beginning to hear how Melissa got her start. Thanks again for being on the show today.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
That's all for this episode of Expert Connections. I'm Julie Holton Smith. Stay tuned. Our next video is right up.